Hi friends, this is Mitro, your English tutor. In this short lesson, I want to recommend a couple of books for you to read and enlarge your vocabulary for test of English. Unlike my other lessons where we usually do some practice tests and tasks for Duolingo, sometimes IELTS or TOEFL, this is a more theoretical one. However, I witness daily the problem of lack of passive vocabulary among my students, and I think not only my students, it's a common problem in the world. So if you are anticipating, let's say, taking the test in 1 year, 2 years from now, in the future, of course not in 1 week, because this principle will not work in this case, and most of us, they try to postpone, to adjourn the preparation till the last week. But if you're a bit wiser, you realize that you have to enlarge your passive vocabulary. So how to do that? Now we are living in informational paradise. Of course, you can just watch YouTube, read the comments with subtitles, and sometimes translate something, repeat, reproduce, emulate the speakers, and you will develop greatly. However, I think that 80% of your success at the test is made by your passive vocabulary, aka your reading comprehension. If you know a lot of words, you will not have a lot of problems in your reading, subsequently writing, because it depends, it's connected to all tasks of grammar, because when you read a lot, your mind absorbs those collocations, combinations, connections, and so on. Only speaking in theory may not improve, because speaking is a separate kingdom. But speaking usually makes not half of the test, but let's say a quarter of the test, or something like that. So there are a lot of books in the world to recommend to enlarge your passive vocabulary. I will recommend 3, and I tell you, if you read at least one of them during your life, with a dictionary, consciously read, analyze the words, then your passive vocabulary will be greater than that of your professors, your friends, your tutors, your everything. So these 3 masterpieces of English and American literature are, 2 of them are recommended by the majority of linguists in the world, while the 3rd one is my favorite. It's not maybe recommended by the majority, but I love it. I'm crazy about it. I will show it to you. So the first one is a novel called Ulysses by James Joyce, an Irish writer. Ulysses is more, let's say, is more of a psychological novel, you see. Of course, it's much more complicated than that. It's a large one, from 700 to 800 pages, depending on the font and the size of the page. James Joyce was a modernist, maybe the most famous modernist of the English literature, so he wrote this book at the beginning of the 20th century. So I will show you one paragraph. You will realize what it is. It's number 1. I mean number 1 not in importance, but just number 1. I opened it. Number 2 is the great Moby Dick, a novel by American writer Herman Melville, written in the middle of the 19th century. Moby Dick is an adventure novel about whale, let's say, hunters, you see. So most of the story takes place aboard the ship. Again, thousands and thousands of new words. And finally, one of the greatest masterpieces of all times, I think, in the not only in the English literature but overall in the world, is The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by a genius, Edward Gibbon. This is a historical work comprising 6 volumes. Even if you read one of them, like volume 1, your English will be, above the competition. I will show you this is my top favorite. It was written in the middle of the 18th century, and Gibbon devoted most of his life to writing this masterpiece. I think you don't know about this book. I didn't know either until I was reading something in some discussion about those masterpieces, and one man wrote that he considers Gibbon, with his Decline of Roman Empire, and his style superior to Shakespeare's. It struck me then, William Shakespeare and Francis Bacon are those great geniuses, and somebody says that. So I found this book immediately and started reading, and I fell in love with it from the first glance. So my friends, you see, these books are very easy to find. They are in public domain. Like, don't buy them. I mean, not that I am against buying and spending money, but you can download them for free from a lot of resources. You will not infringe any copyright, because maybe James Joyce, I don't know when he died, I don't remember, so maybe 70 years have not passed from the death of James Joyce, but it's not a big deal. Herman Melville and Edward Gibbon died long ago, so it's not a problem. So don't buy them, because it's just download and start reading. Depending on your personality, your interests, Moby Dick, probably you will read if you like adventure literature. Ulysses you will read if you like this psychedelic style. By the way, James Joyce used this flow of consciousness method, which was like the first among his contemporaries, so it's serious, I tell you, it's serious. And Gibbon is a great historical work, really a masterpiece. So let me show you just a couple of words from this. So this is Ulysses. So pardon me for this inconvenience, because it's difficult to adapt the size of the. For example, just I opened randomly some page. Somebody is thinking about something. So let's read one or two sentences. Square-headed chaps, those must be in Rome. They work the whole show, and don't they rake in the money too? Bequests also to the PP for the time being in his absolute discretion. Mass is for the repose of my soul, to be said publicly with open doors, monasteries and convents. The priest in that Farmana will case in the witness box, no browbeating him, he had his answer pat for everything. Okay, liberty and exaltation of our Holy Mother the Church. So something psychedelic, I tell you, it's James Joyce is all about this. If you read it slowly and carefully with the dictionary, without the dictionary it makes no sense. You realize, yes, believe me, you will develop your English greatly. This is an excerpt from, let's say, Moby Dick. For example, I opened some page. A tramping of sea boots was heard in the entry. The door was flung open, and in rolled a wild set of mariners, enveloped in their shaggy watch coats and with their heads muffled in woolen comforters, all bed-ironed and ragged, and their beards stiff with icicles. They seemed an eruption of bears from Labrador. So, a masterpiece also, if you like adventure. But this Moby Dick is a big one, and of course there will not be on each page such a style as is written nowadays by those, James Browns with his angels and demons, something like that. He dashed there, he shot her, she shot him, they cried. No. This stupidity will not be found here. It's for those who understand the beauty of the literature. And finally, Gibbon is just, it's. So let's read this mini paragraph. The martial and ambitious of spirit Trajan formed a very singular contrast with the moderation of his successor. The restless activity of Hadrian was not less remarkable when compared with the gentle repose of Antonius Pius. The life of the former was almost a perpetual journey, and as he possessed the various talents of the soldier, the statesman, and the scholar, he gratified his curiosity in the discharge of his duty. Marvelously beautiful. You can imagine that you're floating on the yacht, luxurious yacht, on the waters of the ocean, and enjoy the day. The sun is shining, you bask. Gibbon is the top. I tell you, it's thousands of new words, marvelously integrated into collocations. Some people may say that he's a bit outdated. I don't know. We're speaking about preparation for the English test. If you get comfortable reading Gibbon, after this, the text from IELTS, TOEFL, even SAT will not present any difficulty. It's nothing compared to the beauty of Gibbon and also those two literary works which I have shown you right now. Yeah. So, my friends, I tell you, if you want to increase, to enlarge your vocabulary greatly, read please The History of the Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire by Edward Gibbon, or Ulysses by James Joyce, or Moby Dick by Herman Melville, and you will be beyond competition. It's these are three great masterpieces. Of course, there are others on the market. Let's say, yeah, there are hundreds of others, but these three are evaluated and checked, and they have proven their utility for thousands and thousands of English learners. Okay, if you need urgent assistance in Duolingo IELTS TOEFL preparation, please contact me. I put the contacts in the description to the video and also at the bottom of the screen. Wish you success and see you in our next lesson.